What is up, guys? How you doing? Just kidding, I don't care. I just came back from watching The Lion King, the remake, and... I mean, technically it's not the remake. The Lion King was the remake, the animated version, because it's a remake of Campo the White Lion. The CGI one. Not the live action. It's not live action because it's CGI. Anyways, I just came back from it, and... It was bad. It was bad, man. It was a bad movie. There's so many things that are wrong with it. See, there's the thing. There's an advantage to animated movies. You can exaggerate the expression of a character, and you can tell how they feel. The original Lion King, the expressions are very well shown. You know how they feel. And these CGI lions, which are kind of distracting because they're CGI, but there's no expression because they're supposed to look like real life, right? And lions don't frown or smile like a cartoon does, and that's kind of my problem. There's no emotion in these characters. You don't feel anything. They don't feel alive. They feel like CGI lions, CGI Pumbaa and Timon, CGI animals. It doesn't feel like that. You know what? The animated version felt more alive than the live action version, and obviously the animated one's better. We already knew that the animated one is still gonna be better, but I think this is the worst one of the remakes, of the Disney remakes that we've gotten recently. I think this is the worst one. Why? Because it does the same thing. Usually we should be okay with that, because people get mad when there's something different in the remakes. But you know what? I prefer different over the same exact thing. This is my problem with with The Killing Joke. You know, it's exactly like the comic. That's one of the reasons people didn't like it, because it was exactly frame per frame like the comic book, which I know. I have both the movie and the comic book, and it feels the same way. Same lines, same angles, same visuals, same thing. So you think to yourself, why am I watching the movie? Why not just read the comic book? And yeah, this is the same thing. They do the same exact thing. The same lines, the same visuals, the same angle, same position. It feels like they just watched the original and put a piece of paper on the screen and then traced it and then just, oh, let's make it look like real life. I like the director, Jon Favreau, who, by the way, plays Happy in the MCU. Just interesting fact. And he's done a great job with movies. He's directed the Iron Man movies, and he's a great director, but this one, it felt lazy. You know, there's nothing new. Like I said, same lines, like the same lines. It just feels like you're watching the original, but real life. That's it. And like I said, with the expressions, you don't feel any emotions. Like the scene where Mufasa dies, yeah, we all know he's gonna die. The scene where Mufasa dies, like, you see in the original, Simba, like, you actually, when he screams no, you can tell he's scared for his dad dying, and it's the voice keeps going, no! But in this one, you see, it's the unexpressive face on the lion. He just goes like this, no! And, Jesus, I laughed at that part. I laughed at the part of Mufasa's death. That's how fucked up I am. That there's so little emotion in this. And there's also a problem with this. Since they're supposed to look like real animals, as you know, their eyes aren't really gonna move like in the animated version, so their eyes just aren't gonna move. So there are a bunch of scenes where the animals don't even look at each other, so it just feels like they're saying their lines. It doesn't feel like they're talking to each other. In the original, the animated version, you feel like the characters are talking to each other. In this one, nothing. They're just looking at something while talking. They're not really talking to each other. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that. And I was bored out of my mind. I was thinking, wow, we paid money for this in IMAX 3D. And you know what? It's not worth it. I should have just watched the original again. It's the exact same thing. At least with the remakes, even when they're bad, at least they're trying to do something different. This one, line per line, the same thing. The same things happen, and there's no variety. The songs, at least in Aladdin, I think like the Aladdin remake, at least in the remake, I think the songs are better because in my opinion the music is better because the orchestra sounds better in the new one than in the original Aladdin. But this one they all sound the same. It all sounds the same. Almost like it feels like they just got the audio from the original and then just put it in this movie. You know, the songs feel the same exact way. Apart from Donald Glover's part, which is my favorite singer in this movie, which is the apart from him and Beyonce, there are no good singers. You know, you can tell they're trying their best, but they're not gonna top the original. I didn't. I never thought they were gonna top the original, but I thought something different. There's nothing different. It's not worth watching. I mean, yeah, sure, if you're on a plane ride and it's on the screen, sure, but watching it to a movie theater, actually paying money, no, it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it. The Jungle Book, which is made by the same director, I think is so much better because at least they try something different. And it's weird. The characters in the Jungle Book remake actually feel alive. They feel like I feel like they're talking to each other. The characters are talking to each other. Here, nothing. No emotion, no expression. I'm not saying there are expressions in the Jungle Book remake, but at least in the Jungle Book remake, it feels like they're talking to each other. Here, nothing. And I'm sorry, I just don't like this movie. And I feel like no one else really enjoyed it that much. I mean, the kids obviously enjoyed it, but that's just because, they're kids. What are they going to know when it comes to this? I'm not saying kids are stupid, because even kids can tell when a movie's good or bad. But, you know, it's The Lion King. They're going to like it, obviously. And I only heard a couple laughs, but this movie isn't really that funny either. It's not funny. And, I just don't recommend this movie. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. Those two are for the effects alone. You know, maybe 3 out of 10. The other one is for the voice acting because Donald Glover and Beyonce, I feel like are, well, kind of James Earl Jones, but kind of sounds alright. 3 out of 10 because the voice acting is good, kind of good. But yeah, I just don't recommend this movie. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of this, like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye.